My name isn't important. I was 18 years old, on my graduation day, and instead of celebrating, I was sitting alone in my car, staring at a half-empty bag of fries, trying to convince myself I wasn't about to cry. People always say graduation is supposed to be unforgettable. They're right. It's just not in the way they mean. While everyone else crowded around the gym doors, hugging their parents, and posing for pictures with flowers and balloons, I parked at the far edge of the lot. Not because I was hiding. I just didn't want to explain why no one was standing beside me. Through the slightly fogged windshield, I watched families spill out of the building. Mothers wiping tears, fathers smiling too hard, younger siblings running around in caps way too big for their heads. My cap and gown were folded messily on the passenger seat. My diploma sat unopened in my lap. I had mailed invitations weeks earlier. One to my mom, who was staying at a recovery house. One to my dad's last known address, even though I wasn't sure he still lived there. One to my aunt, who hadn't checked on me in over a year. No one came. I told myself I had expected that. But expectation doesn't make it hurt less. I didn't hang around after the ceremony. I slipped out, changed in the bathroom, grabbed fast food from a drive-thru, and parked as far from the noise as I could. I wasn't angry. I was just tired. Tired of hoping people would show up when history said they wouldn't. That's when someone knocked on my window. Growing up, my life was mostly quiet. The lonely kind of quiet. My dad left when I was 6. One day, he was there, packing for a short trip. The next day, he was gone for good. After that, it was just my mom and me, and sometimes not even her. Addiction took more of her than I ever could. By 13, I was cooking my own meals, walking to school alone, learning how to lie when teachers asked questions. At 15, I got a job. Late shifts, weekends, anything to stay busy. I told people I was saving money. The truth was, I needed a place where no one noticed what my home life looked like. When my mom was arrested again, I moved in with my aunt. She said it was temporary. She kept her distance, like my presence reminded her of something uncomfortable. Eventually, I rented a small room from an older woman who liked quiet tenants and on-time rent. School became my safe place. Not because it was easy, but because it was predictable. Wasn't popular. I didn't stand out, but I worked hard. Graduation wasn't something I was excited about. It was just the finish line I needed to reach. So when no one showed up that day, it felt like confirmation of what I already believed. I was on my third fry when the knock came again. I jumped, nearly dropped my food. Standing outside my car was the last person I expected. My principal, still wearing his graduation robes, cap tilted slightly to the side. I rolled the window down halfway. "Do you mind if I sit for a minute?" He asked. Before I could answer, he opened the passenger door and sat down, folding himself into the seat, like this was the most normal thing in the world. We sat in silence for a moment. "I noticed you didn't stay," he said gently. "I didn't feel like celebrating," I replied. He nodded. "I skipped my own graduation too." That surprised me. "My parents were separating," he continued. "They argued the whole morning. I left early and sat alone in the library." Then he looked at me. "I've watched you for 4 years," he said. "I know how hard you worked to get here." I shrugged it off, like I always did. It wasn't that big of a deal. He didn't argue, he just said. It was then. He added something I wasn't ready for. "Sometimes we spend so much time noticing who didn't show up, that we miss the people who quietly did." He started naming them. The math teacher who stayed late every week. The coach who let me use the locker room showers. The cafeteria worker who always gave me extra food. The English teacher who once handed me a key when I didn't have a place to sleep. I had thought no one noticed. Apparently they all had. "You weren't invisible," he said. "You just didn't have support that came with cameras." Then he handed me an envelope. Inside was a card covered in handwritten notes. Every teacher, every counselor, even staff members. I barely remembered. There was also a small check clipped inside. "For books," he said, "or whatever helps." I couldn't speak. As he got out of the car, he paused. "A few of us are getting dinner later. No pressure, but you're welcome." I sat there long after he left, holding that envelope like it might disappear. For the first time all day, I didn't feel empty. That night, I went to the diner. I walked in, shaking, unsure if I belonged. But when they saw me, no one questioned it. They just made space. And sitting there, laughing, eating fries that actually tasted warm, I realized something important. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes, it's the people who notice when you're struggling, the ones who show up quietly, the ones who choose you. And if you've ever felt unseen, maybe your knock is coming too.